Greetings, friends and foes, and welcome along to episode 44 of Keep Your Friends Close and Your Animes Closer with me, as always, your anime geologist, Joel.
And me, as always, your anime rock collector, Robert.
And me, your anime pumice, Curtis.
Fucking gemstones.
Doesn't even count as a stone. It's just like it's like a rock mated with a sponge.
And fragile.
Are they fragile? They're very holy.
Yeah.
Porous, even.
Porous.
I think is the word.
That's a good word. Yeah.
That can't be. Have you ever fucking used a pumice?
Yeah, I did recently.
What?
just
crumbles
I picked one
apart.
up. Yeah, I was in Taupo, and I picked one up from the beach, and I just made it my mission to wear the entire thing away. Took longer than you'd expect.
Yeah.
And made my hands super smooth.
Yeah.
I hate it. This is an anime podcast. Obviously. This week we watched episodes 1, 2, and 3 of Housekei no Kuni, or Land of the Lustrous, and we're going to talk about that right now. But if you want to skip us, kind of summarizing it for the people who don't listen, you can skip to 14:35. Thanks, Future Joel. Knew I could count on you. Let's just get on in the mix. Housekei no Kuni abridged.
Episode 1, title.
Phosphophyllite.
We open with a moonlight cave in the ocean front. A slim red-haired person hugging their knees while sitting against the wall. Globules of quicksilver floating around them. Time for work, they say. There's long lime green grass swaying in the breeze, and 4 people with pale skin and different coloured hair, silver, dark grey, royal blue, and bubblegum pink respectively, run through the field. Pink Hair stops and shouts, "Foss, I know you're here!" And then we see Foss, with aquamarine hair, wake up from a nap in the grass. Sensei's looking for you. The hair is glistening, semi-translucent, and obviously going to be a major focus from the show. Pinky, named Morga, discovers that Foss is still jobless when Foss speculates that maybe Sensei finally wishes for him to join the others in battle. Silver, named Gosh, or Gosha?
Gosh.
Don't know if you'd pronounce the E on the end. Warns
Gauche?
Gauche, maybe? It's very gauche.
What kind of rock would it be?
It's gauche. I'll get to that later.
Okay.
Silver, named Gauche, warns that there is sunspot activity in the south, so they need to warn Sensei. But Morga says that they should give the Sensei a break and deal with it themselves. Sensei's old, after all. Foss makes his way to the Adamant Sensei, a bald man, and we learn that Foss is short for phosphophyllite. He finally has a job for him. Meanwhile, Morga and Gosh draw their katanas as a fractal-like ink blot appears in the sky, growing and changing. Dozens of luminescent white gold figures known as Lunarians emerge from the sunspot, all dressed in traditional clothing and fanning and playing traditional instruments and surrounding a larger central figure. Foss informs Sensei of the sunspot, while Morga and Gosh fight the torrent of pincer-headed arrows being fired at them. Morga slices obliquely through one head, which semi-melts away, revealing segmented cavities inside akin to a honeycomb or a citrus fruit.
I was going to say it looks like a lotus pod.
Yes, it
So
does.
if you've got topophobia, I think that's the word for it, it looks gross.
Yeah. What's
Particular.
the fear?
Topography.
Topological maps. Top hats.
I think it's a fear of black circles on organic materials.
Huh.
Like lots of eyes or things like that.
Yeah,
like lots of
well,
little holes.
if you look up not ophelia, topophobia on Google Images, you will see some upsetting stuff.
Good to know. Well, there's loads of those holes inside the head of this Lunarian, and then glistening yellow arrowheads emerge from those holes, and the other luminaries resupply. Morga recognizes those golden gemstones from a captured friend called Heliodor. What does she mean? Who knows? We'll find out in a second. Sensei explains to Foss that they come to harvest us as jewelry, coming in countless numbers from the moon. There are only 28 of us left. What does he mean by jewelry? We're people, surely. Surely our glistening golden hairs. Some keep lookout, some of us fight. Everyone has skills, except you. You are not physically fit enough and incomparably clumsy, he tells Foss. Sensei arrives to see Morga and Gosh lying dead and defeated. Their shattered limbs are not bleeding, however. They are showing gemstones to match their hair. Apparently everyone is made of gems. The luminaries, or whatever they're called, the
Lunarians.
Lunarians, sorry. The Lunarians gather up large chunks of gem and their limbs until Sensei snaps his finger and they all disappear. Angrily, he yells at the bodies of the fallen. The force of his scream destroys a nearby tree and even shatters Foss into green pieces. He realizes his folly when he reminds himself that Foss was only a 3.5 hardness on the Mohs scale. He talks to Foss's body as he and the other gem people pack the fallen into body bags. You're brittle, and the Lunarians are particularly fond of your peppermint colour. That's why you can't fight. That's why I've decided that your job is going to be to compile an encyclopedia. What? Foss says from inside the body bag.
Yeah.
But that's so boring!
Shouldn't have zipped her up, probably.
Yeah. Manga and Gush are sitting, having their limbs stuck back together by a two-toned hazelnut and caramel-haired doctor named Rutiel. They give sass to Foss about putting their legs on backwards last time, and we learn that these gem people are home to microscopic organisms called inclusions, which allow them to be reassembled and fixed as long as they have enough of the parts. So they're not dead after all. We also learn that Morga is a 7 on the hardness scale. Foss gets to work on the encyclopedia, or at least he would if he knew where to start. He asks around and he's told to talk to Cinnabar, who's an outcast who takes the lookout job on a night, despite there never having been a luminary raid at night. Given that these people feed off of the sunlight, Cinnabar's silvery globules are required to pull in the faint nightlight, allowing him to patrol in the dark. But also, those globules are mercury, and it's very poisonous. So don't touch it, or those parts of you that do touch it will have to be chipped away and you'll lose them forever.
Now, quick sidebar. If I were to just dunk my hand in a bucket of mercury, would I die?
Depends. If you dunked it in and withdrew it very quickly, there's still a chance of bad things happening, but you wouldn't die immediately.
Well, I didn't think it would be instantaneous death, but I would die of poisoning. Yes.
It's a poisoning death. Mercury poisoning. It's a heavy metal, and your body can't.
Well, I'm not drinking it, so surely
it gets through your skin very quickly, very easily. People used to deal with it when they were they used
hat makers.
Yeah, hat makers used it, and they would eventually be driven crazy by the mercury poisoning, and that's where we get that from.
So say I get just a handful of mercury real quick, and I just
not ideal, not a good idea. There's a good chance that if you played with mercury in your hands, even for
say I had just hypothetically,
you already have.
If I had,
you need to go through some. It's not dialysis. What's it called?
Blood transfusion?
No, it's a different thing where they extract heavy metals from your system. I forget the name.
Magnets.
Magnets. That's the word I was looking for. Magnets. Powerful magnets. I can't remember the name for it, but there is a way that they can prevent you dying.
Good to know.
You've been breaking up thermometers.
Stumble across some mercury in the wild.
Yeah, mercury. Foss goes out to find Cinnabar, only to run into another attack at the cliffside at twilight this time. Cinnabar jumps in and drowns them in mercury before falling off the cliff. Foss dives forward, thrusting the blank encyclopedia out for Cinnabar to grab. He does so, but Foss's arms shatter off and Cinnabar falls. Then he's behind him on the cliff, saying, "I never asked to be saved." Rutiel, the doctor, chips away at the contaminated bits of Foss.
And then when Foss accepts her hand, Cinnabar's hand also falls off.
Yeah,
and he says, "I have a hardness of 2, which is even lower than your hardness of 3.
I should mention, in case anybody's not familiar with the Mohs scale, it's a scale of how hard a certain mineral is. So number 1 is talc, from where we get talcum powder, very, very, very soft rock. And number 10 is diamond. So anywhere between that's how hard you are as a thing. So that's why they give Foss shit for being a 3.5. Not very hard mineral is
not very hard.
Hey. Not very hard. It is not hard, mate. Cinnabar is an even softer mineral. So he goes to the doctor. Rutiel chips away at all the contaminated bits and thankfully manages to get rid of it without Foss losing too much of his memory. He tells him that yes, it is awful that Cinnabar is ostracized from the rest of the group, but they just don't know how else to handle him yet. Maybe Foss will think of something for him to do. But stay away from that cliff and the Cave of Emptiness. It's the most dangerous location we know. Nevertheless, Foss goes back to the cliff to work on his encyclopedia and runs into Cinnabar again, who says he is there precisely because it's dangerous. He wants to get taken, because at least on the moon, where these Lunarians come from, they might make use of him, unlike here. It's very sad.
Very sad.
Foss swears, "I will find you a job that only you can do, that you are perfectly suited for." The end. Episode 1.
Ain't that sweet?
Episode 2, title.
Diamond.
6 shooting stars once hit the Earth, fracturing it and birthing 6 moons. The land life died off, and the sea life adapted into inorganic matter. Gemstone life originated and made its way back onto the land. A tactics meeting is just adjourning, and we meet jade-haired Jade and blue-silver dichrome-haired Euclays. They pass Foss, who begs for their help coming up with things for Cinnabar to do. Sensei passes by, off to meditate. When he meditates, nothing can rouse him. That's not going to come and bite them in the ass in a second. Rutiel sneaks up behind them and taps Jade with a hammer, carrying out the 100-year toughness inspection. Foss runs off to ask Daya for ideas, but the Lunarians attack, and Daya starts to fight them off. He does well at first, but in the onslaught, he falters. We're introduced to Bort, the long black-haired Bort Diamond. He flies in from nowhere and whoops ass, destroying the baddies and saving the goodies. Daya talks about how, although they're both diamonds, he is a monocrystal and thus fragile, and Bort is a synthesis of microcrystals, and thus he is more durable. He's the hardest and most perfect among the entire group.
He's well hard and he's well tough.
Well hard, mate. Well hard and well tough. We find out that Daya lost his arm in that attack, and Bort gives him a rollicking for it. Foss defends Daya.
A what?
He gives him a right rollicking.
A rollicking?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
He gives him a right rollicking, and Foss defends Daya, albeit from hiding behind his legs. Bort sees another attack coming, but they ignore the 3 of them and they fly over to the school instead. A gigantic snail shell falls from the Lunarians' rolling oil cloud on which they ride, and Bort defeats them easily, but the shell remains, which suggests that it's not from the moon. Foss, as the master academic, tasked with completing the encyclopedia, is given the job of investigating what this shell is, but he is immediately swallowed by the giant jelly snail thing living inside of it. The others rush in to try and save it, only to discover that it is highly acidic and instantly dissolves them on touching it. Its shell is damaged in the fray, but Foss is fully dissolved within it before they can save him. His last thought goes to failing his promise to Cinnabar.
GG. Well played, I guess.
Yeah, you made 2 episodes before my character died.
Pretty good.
Episode 3, title.
Metamorphose.
They continue to fight the snail, avoiding its gooey tendrils. Daya notices that the shell is being repaired by peppermint-coloured mineral deposit. The snail is defeated and pushed back into the saltwater. A weird invertebrate pigworm thing is left behind, and they check out the shell under the water to find that there's no remains of the snail.
Or Foss.
The pigworm jumps around to get their attention, and Daya is convinced that this little thing is Foss. They go to Rutiel to ask for medical help. Rutiel can't help them, but suggests tearing it open.
Dissecting it.
If it is indeed Foss, it shouldn't be harmed, and Daya reminds him that but animals don't heal the same way that we do. Daya gets his arm fixed back on, but he leaves with the Foss worm intact. He feels responsible for Foss's transformation, and the others all seem to not care too much, or think it's for the best. Foss wasn't adding too much to the group anyway, so what does it matter? Daya takes it to the beach, where it eats grass, poops pellets, and sleeps. He also falls asleep, only to be woken by Cinnabar on patrol in the night. Cinnabar doesn't seem to care about Foss's predicament and tries to dismiss them, inadvertently giving Daya an idea.
He points out that snails eat minerals to repair their shells, and that the snails on this hill are red because they eat red rocks, and the snails on the beach, they're white because they eat sand.
Because they eat white sand. And Daya says, there was some green pepperminty colour on the shell. Maybe that's how we can get Foss back. So sure enough, Daya races home and hauls up the shell. They chip out all of the green mineral and they fix Foss back together again. All the king's horses and all the king's men.
Yeah.
Foss, upon waking up again, chases the slug around the room, angry and wanting revenge on it, but revealing in doing so that he can now understand it when no one else can.
Very important, I'm sure.
We'll find out next time.
So
indeed. I'd like to start with just a segment that I'll carry on for season 4 called I'm Going to Rock Your World.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a spotlight on one of the rocks featured. Today is the spotlight on Cinnabar.
Should we not say whether we liked it or not first?
No, I want to start with telling you something about what the real Cinnabar is.
I'm going to cuck you. You came to hear our thoughts.
So Cinnabar is no longer just a volcanic island in the Kanto region of Pokemon. No, it is a brick red form of mercury sulfide. So it's a compound of mercury and sulfur. It is actually where the most common source of mercury has ever come from throughout history. It's been mined for thousands of years, usually used for its pigment because of its bright red appearance. They actually used it, you want to guess for what sort of purposes they needed the bright red things for?
In history?
Yeah, throughout history.
Paint.
Paint is a good one. What else? Any other ideas?
Pottery.
Pottery is a good one.
But that's obviously not it because he's still going. I'm going to say the red robes specifically that the Romans wore when they had Alexander of Macedonia, who he came through India.
Strange name.
And he did it, and he was wearing the red.
That is exactly right. Also, the answer I was looking for is rouge. They used it for cosmetic to put on their faces.
Right, see, I was trying to avoid...
They knew at this stage that mercury was poisonous.
Wow.
They've known that for hundreds and hundreds of years. But they mined it for its red cosmetic purposes, putting it on their faces, going, it's worth it.
Have you ever been through no nut decade? Like, you ever needed to get a nut so bad you were willing to poison your face?
You're willing to go through the madness of mercury poisoning for it.
Listen, my name's Sally, and I haven't been able to nut for 20 years. And then I had mercury rouge, and look at me. I've got a different boy every day.
I don't care.
I'm crazy.
They also got right that it is indeed a 2 or a 2.5 on the Mohs hardness scale.
Perfect.
Did I rock your world?
You did. Although I did know that it was a rock because every single town in Kanto is named after a rock.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Vermilion and palette.
Yeah, there's a palette rock, isn't there?
Is there?
I'm pretty sure it's like a kind of stone.
Fuchsia, saffron.
Or are they colours? They're colours.
Yeah,
one of them is rocks, and if there's not, I got them mixed.
I was going to say that's.
I knew that there was
like
a theme. We're going to skip this.
Yep. Shit, Joel has 1 minute, so he's going to cut all this out.
What do we think of the show? What about that instead?
I loved it. I thought it was great. I enjoyed it.
Curtis?
I enjoyed it. It was okay.
I thought it was pretty good, but I am... Yeah.
You're not sold on it?
Not sold quite yet. I thought it had a very strong first episode, and then I thought the second and third in particular were just quite different.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It wasn't quite what it didn't take the turn I was expecting it to.
No, yeah.
With the dissolving and things, but I'm hooked to know what's where it's going to go. Like, we've got only 9 episodes left. It's only a 12 episode thing. So
one thing that is worth pointing out is that I think it's probably going to be a second season because there's a manga that is continuing.
Yeah, I'd reckon.
So I don't think it's going to be like and that's all the answers that you get. But yeah, I think it'll go into some interesting directions. Let's start with a couple things for episode 1. So I thought it was really interesting. Okay, so they're all agendered. They all have the exact same body type.
Yeah.
Varying heights, but very petite frames.
Yeah, that's the first thing you notice. They all use male pronouns.
No, not all of them.
Oh, really? I didn't notice any that didn't.
I didn't think that...
Rutil, maybe?
Yeah, I don't think that they all do.
They all have the very same frame, which is definitely a feminine frame. They've got like a... They've got the long, slender legs. They wear sort of higher heels than feminine shoes. They've got like that tight ass that they've got on.
It's not
girls.
an ass. That's why I thought it was kind of agendered, because they don't have wide hips.
They don't have wide hips, but they've got the long, slender legs and the ass.
I think they have a female.
They've got the smaller waist.
To me, they look like
They
girls.
just don't have bosoms. And
bosoms. Silly word.
Boobs.
Okay, well, that's interesting, because I thought that they were more agendered.
I didn't notice any use of feminine pronouns. So there were some that I was listening out for and didn't hear any pronouns. So Rutil, I don't think, was named.
Well, that's interesting. Okay, so because the thing I wanted to talk about, jumping off of that, was the use of pronouns, because pronouns function differently in Japan. For example, when you're addressing yourself in English, you just say, I did this. But there are, I think, 4, I'm probably getting that wrong, but there are about 4 that I can think of ways of identifying yourself. Watashi is I if you're a female, or if you're like kind of more feminine, I guess, because men can use it as well.
Right.
But then there's boku, which is masculine. Women are allowed to use that. They're allowed to use any of them, but boku is more masculine. It implies a more aggressive and forward personality. A really recent example in anime would be 02 from Darling in the Franxx. She is a big-boobed anime titty girl, but she refers to herself as boku, but she's also very aggressive, very outspoken, and forward. And then there's things like ore, which is an almost country version of like y'all, but for myself. Orewa. Anyways, but they're all using boku to refer to themselves, and I don't know if there are like...
Could you ever do like a... Boko?
You probably get laughed at.
Right.
You probably get laughed at.
Right, okay, but, that's an interesting thing.
Yeah. So the reason I think that they're probably using that pronoun exclusively is because they're all being raised by this centurion guy who doesn't seem to be a rock, the sensei. He would refer to himself as boku, and they're like, oh, so he taught me to speak.
Yeah.
That's how you refer to yourself.
Yeah, that's how I read it. I read it as, because they're inorganic, they don't have sexual reproduction, and so they have no gender to speak of, no gender or sex. And so I figured that because they were raised by this only human that we've seen, who's also several hundred years old, who happens to be male, they just took on male pronouns as well.
Yeah, that was what I took from it. Oh well, that's cool that we're all in consensus.
While we're speaking about him though, I think it's fascinating that he's bald when hair is such a big thing for the rest of them, like their hair colours and even their eyelashes, their eyebrows, their eye colour all matches.
Yeah.
Their innards they're all matching colour, and they've all got these massive hair, well not massive but like very detailed hair. That a lot of thought has gone into the design of every one of them and their hairstyle.
Yeah, in the third episode, when we have a very brief meeting with all of them, a lot of their personality is conveyed through their hairstyles, I thought.
Yeah. I kind of find it boring to have one body type, 28 of them, just changing hair up. I get, like, it's CG. That's real cheap.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it'll pay. It's part of the story.
Yeah.
There are gems on the inside or whatever. But I don't know. That kind of bored me a little bit.
So they're all wearing the same uniform.
Seeing the same thing over and over again. The same clothing.
A little bit of a cop out in the design process to just be like, just use this template.
Not necessarily if it fits the story. Like, that's cool. But just boring.
Because in Attack on Titan, all of the main characters who are in the army wear the same uniform. It's not the uniform though, it's the body types.
The same body type, it's the same clothing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think they did put a lot of effort into the different personalities of the different gems.
Yeah, they're all very pronounced.
Very pronounced personalities. And it does suit the gems. I looked into all the different gems that they represent and stuff, and cool. The things that those gems represent are represented in the personalities of the gems that we see.
Nice.
But they could have done something about the body type as well. Like, if I don't know off the top of my head, like what they might have changed, but
like we don't look the same.
Yeah,
you know, like people don't look the same.
And gems don't look the same. Some of them are jagged. Some of them are like they have more cleavage. Some of them have different like crystalline structures and things. And so it would have made sense for them to have a physically different body if they are evolved from different gems, different minerals.
Well, I guess that's the thing, is we only got a part of the origin Genesis story in this episode, so maybe we'll find out more. I would just like to point out, it is obviously a very good time-saving technique if you're using CG to have them all the same body type.
For sure.
But they do have that design in the manga, and it is based on a manga.
Right. No, just important. A little same.
Yeah.
And but you're right. They all do have their different personalities come through, and I think that's through like the animation more so.
Yeah.
Which is a challenge.
Yeah.
What did you think of the animation, like with it being CG?
I haven't seen a lot of CG shows. It often gets a bad rap. It's a well-earned bad rap. I will say that much.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that? Why does CG get a bad rap? A well-earned bad rap?
Curtis looks like he has insight.
I just so 2D is mostly like static. You know, you mentioned it's like 3 frames of like still drawings. CG when like rendered realistically looks like it's standing still like no motion. So it's the results are usually jarring.
Yeah.
It really stands out in contrast to 2D, which is more flat and just seems to work. That's my sort of...
That's a technical understanding.
So when
of
it's
it.
CG, it can be it's rendered well, but it looks like it's even fewer than 3 frames a second.
You got to animate it at like 24 frames because like this real subtle movement, we might like it's closer to real life. Like, so if you're using like real life lighting, then we naturally would perceive the motion.
Yeah.
But that motion isn't there because they're not animating it at 24 frames a second.
If somebody's hand is like resting on their chin and it's 2D, and
you could just have one image.
Yeah, that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
But if it's CG and you aren't like animating them moving a little bit,
you're not animating like a sway and things like that, it'll look fake. It'll just really, it'll be jarring. It
makes it look plastic and
But wouldn't it be
static.
much easier to... You call it tweening, I think, right? With CG, if it's all computer generated, it wouldn't be much easier.
CG in between. But
it's harder to make it... That's the thing is, it's harder to make it look natural, or it's more expensive to make it look natural with tweening, because again, you have that... Your brain has that elevated level of expectation compared to 2D. Would that be right in saying?
Yeah, exactly. So
whereas
the reason why I think this works is because they're not trying to render it like a Pixar film.
Yeah.
They're trying to render it in a way that looks 2D.
Right, I get
And that has evolved over time, and I think what you're saying is when they've tried to do that in the past, they just haven't been getting it. It stands out.
Yeah.
So we're willing to let more go in a 2D animation. Like because we know it's a cartoon that's hand drawn or whatever, you can get away with 10 frames a second or whatever. Whereas if you took a live action sitcom that's filmed in like 24 frames a second or whatever, and you cut out every other frame or whatever so that it's down to 12.
It looks like robots.
It would look
more,
right.
That's an interesting technical understanding of it.
Yeah.
But I was thinking more specifically from the context of CG anime. That's like a good top level.
Yeah.
But CG anime, like in the past, so the biggest comparison, I can't remember where I heard this, was in the West. Our first CG film was Toy Story, and that didn't try to look realistic. It was its own thing. It kind of set the foundation for what 3D should look like and set our expectations for what animated movies should look like.
Possibly. I think, that's definitely a Western view.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm getting to.
Yeah.
In the East, when they tried to translate from 2D to 3D, they tried to make a direct comparison, like a direct translation.
Right.
From the cell shading down to like the line art.
Yeah.
And it just has never translated well. It always looks strange and uncanny valley.
Yeah.
And so they've always there's just been a constant struggle of them trying to match exactly to 2D, and that's too expensive and it looks like shit. I would say shows like Knights of Sidonia, which is a mecha series I tried to watch. It just looked like shit. Yeah, it has the frame issues that you talked about, and they're trying to recreate an anime aesthetic, but it just doesn't look right. It just it looks like a weird kind of uncanny valley.
I would, I agree with all that. I would even say that there's examples in Western, like Disney animation, when they tried to incorporate 3D animation into 2D animated films, like Hercules, the Hydra.
The Hydra,
It's completely 3D, and it doesn't fit the aesthetics, the current aesthetics of the film. Yeah. And so they were trying to adapt it as well to that 2D look, and they failed.
Well, you still have that in anime as well. There is a character in Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood that is completely CG.
Yeah,
and it's fucked. One character. It's late in the series. It's so jarring. It is so bizarre. But you get that with mech shows as well. Like they'll be like, oh, fuck, the mech is like, we were talking about how hard it is to draw mechanical stuff.
Yeah.
So they're like, we'll just make a 3D rig of the mech and animate that, and it just looks fucked.
Yeah.
So
it's got like perspective and everything. Like perspective and 2D drawings isn't necessarily right all the time, and when it's moving, it can look okay. I think we're more willing to accept mistakes in like 2D drawn stuff.
Yeah.
Is that what happened between Avatar: Last Airbender and Legend of Korra? Because there's scenes in Legend of Korra that seemed really weird and out of place, and I wondered if that was because it was 3D CG or something.
There's
like
those are all CG.
Those are all CG, and that's why it looks different.
Yeah, they look shit.
So there's the examples of like 2D shows with like 3D characters, but then there's like the example of like full 3D,
which is what we're talking
anime,
about now,
which is what this is.
Yeah.
And the same effects though, they're trying to make it look like a 2D animation.
Yeah, well, that's what I was more trying to get at is because we don't really have like Pixar is its own kind of 3D style, and even Illumination and all the other kind of CG Leica, they have it's not trying to replicate exactly 2D, whereas anime is still very much just like, okay, we have to make this look like all that 2D
like
shit.
a 2D cartoon.
Yeah, and it struggles to work, whereas I think that this looks very good. There are a couple times where there's some frame dips, but the Sakuga in episode 2 and 3 with Diamond running through the trees and fighting the snail I thought were very good.
Yeah. So where does this fall in terms of other CGI anime in terms of its animation?
This is the top. This is the top tier, which is why I thought it would be a good.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, because when you were sort of badmouthing CGI, I was like, this is stunning to me. This was beautiful.
This is everybody who watched it was literally astounded when they saw it, because even when they announced that they were doing an adaptation, you have the manga fans who are excited, and then they hear it's CG and they're like, oh cool, so we're just going to write this one off. I know that they used... This is an interesting example. This is actually 3D using 2D on top of it. A lot of their facial animations are done on in 2D afterwards. So they render out the 3D and then they do 2D animation to help. That's how they've managed to figure it out, is they've been like, right, we'll render it in 3D, and then to make it look more anime, we'll add in 2D stuff. There's a couple of little smaller animations I noticed, like with Diamond putting her glove back on. That was 2D specifically. So they are bridging the gap there.
Cool.
Yeah, there's some 2D frames in it as well.
Yeah, but then you have a show like the notorious Berserk 2016 and 2017, which is just completely fucked. They try and recreate frames from the manga, shot for shot, but they try and animate between the frames, and like a manga isn't trying to, it's not like, oh, you would pan from this to this. It's cutting it differently. It's a completely different medium, and when you try and move a camera around that space, it's completely jarring and it doesn't feel right, and it makes it really hard to follow what action is happening. And also it just looks like dog shit. Fuck that.
I've heard good things about Berserk.
No. Berserk is good. The manga, Berserk, the manga is good. The 1997 anime is good. The movie series, which is CG, is pretty good. The 2016 and 2017 anime TV series are bad. Okay. It's a really... We'll talk about Berserk at different times.
So when people have recommended it, they were probably talking about the
manga or the 1997, or the 3 movies that came out.
So this back to this one. Lustrous it really blew me away with its animation within the first 2 scenes, because the first scene, it's a beautiful moon sky. And it goes down and you can see like the ocean, and it's gorgeous, and there's a person sitting in the cave who turned out to be Cinnabar. It was just beautiful. I was like, man, coming off the back of something that was 2D and animated in the 90s, and I was like, this is something else. This is really different. And then it cuts to the swaying long lime green grass, and everybody's running through the grass. I was like, shit, we're in for some visual treats here. Yeah, even the way that their hair moves is impressive in the times where they really want to... That's an interesting thing about their hair. I don't know if the hair is supposed to be a solid block, because there was one time when they did like a close-up on Cinnabar and it was waving more like natural hair, but that's neither here nor there. Like Bort's hair is really naturalish, but Morga's not. One thing I do like is the attention to detail of their hair glowing, like it's shining, and it actually acts, because I looked up the different rocks that they're based on, and it does shine. They've put attention into making it look like those minerals. Like I noticed it with Morga, particularly with the bubblegum pink sort of hair. She's got pink shoulders, like the shine is on her shoulders, underneath his shoulders,
like bounce
underneath his hair. And the same with a few of the others as well. Like you can see the light from their own hair reflecting onto parts of their face and stuff. So a lot of attention to detail there. I also really like the Foley work. I've noticed as well as they're running.
I have that as a note.
they're running along like wooden floors, and instead of the usual footsteps, they put like it does sound like gemstone hitting wood.
When they touch each other as well, when they
clinking of stone against stone.
Exactly. Yeah.
Very clever. Very good.
Yeah, it feels fragile.
Moving into episode 2. Because we could talk about the oil and stuff, but I don't think we need to. You guys, do you have anything else you want to say about episode 1? The Mercury from Cinnabar. Do you guys have anything else to say about episode 1?
Just a couple of things I didn't particularly like. The exposition was a little bit clunky with Sensei and Foss. He's making his way to the Lunarians' attack, and he goes, "Yeah, the Lunarians come and keep taking us for jewelry, and there's only 28 of us."
Well,
it's like Foss has lived in this group for a long time, like hundreds of years.
That's one thing that I don't know. Would they have let somebody not have a job for hundreds of years? I think Foss is obviously the youngest, but how new is what
They also forget their memories.
If they get things chipped off them. Oh yeah, that was something I didn't really mention in the synopsis so much. If they get parts chipped off of them, their memories live within those like parts of them.
Yeah,
they don't have brains per se. They've got like all of the minerals, all of the cells of their bodies are minerals.
I have a thing I want to get into when we get to the episode 2 creation story.
Go.
Oh, well, there we are. We're right there. So the creation story, Robert kind of skipped through it. Most of it was pretty accurate, but the one part I wanted to focus on was life that couldn't live, whatever fell to the bottom of the seafloor. On the seafloor, they were consumed by microorganisms who transformed them over long stretches of time into inorganic material and then systematically turned that into gemstones. And they're alive now. So, I mean, that's confusing. What I thought that was talking about was kind of speaking to the concept of a soul. Like, the life, you know what I mean? So the concept is that life went to the bottom of the ocean and was eaten by, I don't know, fucking plankton at the chum bucket or whatever, and then plankton shit it out, and after a long period of time, it became this new life form, which are these gemstones. And I was like, that is, they are inorganic. They've addressed that. So that is life unlike anything we could even conceive of existing on Earth. Which I think speaks to the concept that, like, the soul is where life could come from. If that makes sense. I was trying to interpret it because they've also addressed, Foss gets completely dissolved by the snail, and the snail uses Foss's minerals to heal its shell. Crack all that off, put it back together. There you go, bang bang boom. You got another Foss.
Interesting that you interpret it to do with the soul. That didn't occur to me at all. I went a purely evolutionary route by saying, they went to the bottom of the ocean, all these minerals went to the bottom of the ocean where they became an abundant food source, effectively, for all of the things that live there. Like we see the entire episode 3 is about it, how all sorts of shell-dwelling creatures, crustaceans and all sorts of gastropods and stuff will use minerals to create their shells.
The language is what made me think it was a thing. It said the life was consumed by microorganisms and turned into inorganic substances and then transformed into gemstones. And because it says the life was consumed and then turned,
so we die, we go to the bottom of the ocean, all the land, because it was like, this is set in the future effectively. With all that exposition, set in this planet, but in the future, way in the future, after there's been sort of a bombardment of things on the planet. It's turned the surface to an unlivable wasteland. All the life that could escape into the space did so and landed on the moon and evolved into the Lunarians. Whereas all the life that couldn't escape the land died and ended up in the ocean, where it got devoured by the ocean-dwelling life, turned into the shells and the mussels and all of the shell-like things. And over millions of years, evolution continued so that the actual shell of the organism became a living creature itself, and Weeb basically evolved a silicate-based life rather than a carbon-based life, which is incidentally something that is in theory the other form of life that we might find in the world. If it's not carbon-based, it's going to be silicon-based.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, that's a thing. So carbon is a very, for chemical reasons, for chemistry reasons, the carbon's a very good molecule for making life. It's good for making long compounds. So we expect that any life that we find will be carbon-based, but if it's not, then it's probably silicon-based, which is the next best thing. And minerals are silicate-based.
Oh, okay.
And so it's pretty far-fetched, but it's not as far-fetched as you might imagine to think that silicate-based life forms could exist.
But we haven't found any silicate.
No.
Okay.
Not in real life, but they did in Star Trek a couple of times.
Okay.
Curtis just like, as soon as he heard that there was silicon life, he leaned in real close, kind of hunched up, very nervous, and then when he heard that we hadn't found any yet, he gave a big sigh of relief.
Oh my God.
Leaned right back.
Yeah, this is sort of the alternate history, the alternate future, I suppose, of what if some catastrophe happens on Earth, wipes out most of the carbon-based life, and silicon-based life evolves. And that's basically what I took it to be.
I find that more satisfying. I think my brain's been rotten by anime. That is more satisfying, so we'll just move right on past it. I really liked how they talked about how tough they were.
How hard and tough.
And I thought of Robert, and I thought he's from Leeds.
He's hard, mate. Ugh, it's not hard enough.
Yeah.
There's two different types of diamond, which I really loved, that were introduced, and the hardness and toughness was explored between the two of them, because they're both a 10 in the hardness, but one's tougher than the other.
I love that. I was like, he's not very tough.
Not very tough.
He's well hard, but not very tough.
Did you interpret Daya's comments about Bort to be like, how did you phrase it? Like
romantic,
sinister in any way? Because Daya says something about like, Bot's tougher than me and whatever. I sometimes wonder what it would be like if he wasn't around anymore. It definitely sounded like in a couple of lines that he or she was saying that they were talking about killing Bot or making him disappear.
I don't think that Foss was involved in that decision. I think it stems from her jealousy, right? It's character development. I'm jealous of her. She makes me look like I'm supposed to be well-hard, but she's tougher than me. It makes me look like shit. It's just I didn't think it was particularly sinister. I think that there was supposed to be like, this person's
quite an abusive relationship that they've got. Bought and
the arc for that will be, I just don't want you to get hurt, don't you see? Oh, you are hurting me. Oh my God.
I'm the evil that I was trying to prevent.
Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Who do you reckon is going to be the next one to get nabbed by the Lunarians? Who are we going to lose?
Bing ol' Bort.
Bort, you reckon?
Yeah, no, I have no idea.
I reckon it might be Bort because he's set up to be like the hardest and toughest and strongest and most perfect. And if he loses, that'll throw the rest of them into a bit of disarray. Because when they attack the school, whatever it is, and they've dropped the shell off, Jade looks up and goes, "Oh shit, when did they get here?" "Don't worry, Sensei will wake them up." And Foss says, "No, Sensei's in one of his sleeping meditation moods. He's not waking up for nothing." And then he or she sees Bort run up the side of the school and attack them. And Jade goes, "Oh, I guess we're fine then." So that's showing some complacency amongst them because Bort's so good at attacking them. Yeah. So I think if we lose Bort in the next episode or two, that'll throw them into like a holy shit, what do we do now kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That'd be good.
Yeah. And Daya, who is a very gentle sort of a soul, will be thrust into like the main
herself.
Yeah. They'll be like, "Oh crap, I've got to find my friend."
Yeah, something's off there, I think, because Bort was about to also destroy
Foss. Yeah. Do you think he was? I think he was threatening him. I think he was being like, "I'm the hardest one here. Don't you forget it. I'm gonna show you off."
Do you remember that video that I showed you of these guys? And they sounded like they were from Leeds, and they're all topless, standing in a backyard that's just concrete, and they're all puffing a cig, and then he throws the cigarette on the ground, swigs a beer, gives his mate a kiss on the lips, and then just gets hit in the back with a chair like 3 times.
There's not much to do.
Yes, except hit each other in the back with chairs. That's just I don't know why, but when I think of people who are hard, I think of
that reminds me of like those videos you see, and they're probably racist videos, but they're like Slovakia Slavs.
No, Slavs. I think that's not really racist. It's just people Slavs doing Slav things.
Yeah, like Slav life and stuff. Yeah.
Shit's fucked if you've got nothing to do when it's really cold.
Yeah.
Only way to keep warm is by drinking. Any particular...
Don't do that, by the way. It's a public service announcement. It doesn't actually make you warm. It just numbs your... It numbs your ability to feel the cold.
When has Robert ever been right?
The cold. And so a lot more people have a whiskey blanket And they're like, I'm not feeling the cold or whatever. But that's the problem, you're not
And then they
feeling the
wake up
cold.
with frostbite.
And so your body doesn't go into all of the natural defense mechanisms against the cold, and you end up getting frostbite and shit.
Well, then why did those very good dog boys in Sweden run around with whiskey in their little like barrels that they had around their neck?
Switzerland, and they're known as Saint Bernards. Because if you have like moments from death because of the hypothermia, it's probably good to make you like give you your consciousness back. You need to be able to have
You fucking dog.
or if you get so pissed that you don't give a shit that you're gonna die, then that's another success.
Very good boys up in those Alps. Salute them. Any more thoughts about episode 3?
Just a couple of overarching thoughts. Did they ever put the yellow guy back together again?
No. I saw, was it Rutile?
Rutile's the doctor, yeah.
Yeah, I saw Rutile walking around with an arm, a yellow arm that he put together.
They're putting it together, or they don't have enough to put it back together?
They've established that you can't die ever if you're a rock as long as you can get enough of the pieces back together. I don't think that they have enough yet. And which is why they say, do you think if we can gather up all the pieces we can put...
When they chopped off the neck of one of the Lunarians... arrows came out, like yellow gemmed arrows.
Yeah.
Was that the yellow gem?
Yeah, that was their friend. Which, fun point about that is that Manga and Gosh we see together, and they talk about having lost Heliodor, their yellow friend.
Right.
All three of those are actually the same rock, the same mineral. They're just different types of that same brand of mineral called beryl. But yeah, that's quite funny. So that confused me because Sensei gives the exposition that they're being hunted for jewelry.
Yeah, but
and
arrows
they use them as
jewelry.
arrows as well, and they're like giving them back to the people that they're hunting with them.
Listen, these are eldritch abominations. We don't need to worry about how they think just yet. We can address that later.
No.
But they are eldritch in nature. These fucking things. They've got like single color skin, and they cut them open. They got arrows in their heads. We'll think about them later.
Did I miss something about how Cinnabar got back onto the cliff when he fell off?
He's just well quick.
I was wondering if I just missed something, or it was just like, he's just on the cliff now.
I think
he can teleport or become.
I think he can because he can control the Mercury, right?
Yeah.
He just like waterbended himself with some Mercury.
Actually, we saw him move towards Dia in the third episode, in the third episode. He kind of he turned into Mercury, right?
So
he makes it. He ejects. He ejaculates Mercury from his body. And then he uses it to push him because he's a Mercury bender.
Is he such a low level that he can like sort of and he's part Mercury or something? You said
the rock Cinnabar is where we get Mercury.
So maybe he can transform because he does disappear at day, right?
No, he doesn't. He goes and hides.
Oh, in the cave.
He goes to sleep because he's got night shift.
So you reckon he's just pushing himself with Mercury? You think he's Terminator?
I think he's like dissolving into a liquid and moving really fast.
T-1000 or something. It's been too long since I've seen that movie. What is it? T-2000? T-1000? You don't know what I'm talking about?
It's the Terminator.
Terminator 2.
Yeah.
He's in this boy.
Yes, he does.
You think he can do that?
Yeah.
Whereas you think he's
I
just
feel like we
himself.
saw it in episode 3.
It did look. It did look something similar.
I think he just was like, "Oh boy, here are the Lunarians. They're here at night. I'm going to get them." And he's and then all the Mercury all the Mercury comes out of him, and then he goes in real quick.
Okay, you're always better. Yeah, I like your.
So he's and then he comes in real quick, but then he sees it's just Dia, and then he lets it all out because he's just
disappointed.
He's disappointed.
Yeah.
What is Sensei's power over these Lunarians? Because he snaps his fingers and they disappear. Like why does Morga worry about?
Right. So predictions.
This does fit into predictions.
You could have kept going because we might as well just be there now.
Yeah. What is it? Because Morga goes.
He's one of
Let's
them.
not worry about it. Let's not worry Sensei because he's an old man and it'll be too taxing on him. And then he arrives and snaps his fingers and they disappear. Like that's not going to be taxing on anyone.
So we see the.
He's got severe arthritis, and then she's like, he can't snap his fingers much anymore.
Well, we don't know how old he is, and we don't know if he's human or what. But we also see that in the Lunarians, when they travel on their cloud, they got a bunch of little ones and then one big one in the middle. Maybe he used to be a big one. What do you think about that?
Oh, okay.
He was a big
Lunarian.
You reckon?
I don't think so.
Because obviously there's one controlling them. Maybe if there was one even bigger one controlling them.
Nice.
Clicks and they disappear. Maybe. Why is he not like white gold?
Maybe he's a god.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? It's too early to say.
My sort of prediction, or like I got a feeling he makes foes into... he gives her the task of recording stuff in the encyclopedia. She's always being chased after by these Lunarians. She always seems to be in the wrong place, wrong time. And I don't know if he's trying to protect her or put her into danger. But I feel like she's a target of the Lunarians, and I feel like the sensei knows something about that, and he gave her this job, either to protect her.
Yeah,
maybe he is, because he's like, go and document everything. And he knows that doing that will send him to the cliff. Yeah. Where these extra butterfly species are that nobody's documented yet. And the cliffside is, as we learned from Rutiel, the most dangerous place that they know of, because that's where Heliodor got kidnapped from and stuff as well. Yeah. So maybe it is that Sensei's going to be the main bad guy or something. Or I doubt that. I don't think that's where it's going to be.
I don't get that from him.
Because in 12 episodes, there's a lot of setup and then reveal and then twist and all of that stuff.
Well, I mean, could be season 3, baby. You don't know.
Could be. I don't think we're going to get to it in this season. No. Of Sensei being a bad guy. I think we are going to get a reveal of what his powers are and what his backstory is, and why he can scream so loudly and everything. Because we see it twice. He screams and blows at a tree, but he also just blows really gently, and that's enough to blow Foss's hair right back and everything. Yeah.
I predict that Heliodor is never coming back. Bye-bye, Yellow Girl. We hardly knew ye.
We didn't at all know ye, except for as tools of war. Why? Because they don't have enough pieces of...
I just don't think that they'll get them all back.
Right.
And you know what I'm looking forward to? So we've seen that, break your arm off, right?
Yeah.
What happens if me and Curtis break both of our arms off? Curtisite and Joland. So we swap, and... Yeah. What happens then? Do I get some of your memories? Do I get cool powers? Fusion. I think that's going to be the fusion in this show. The fusion, or the power-up equivalent.
You reckon we're going to explore that?
Well, because I do. Well, because Foster's the main... Foster's supposed to be the main character.
Yeah.
And the whole thing is that they want to fight.
Yeah.
And they're like, I have no way of fighting because I'm weak as fuck. What if Diamond's just like, I'm sick of it. You can just have my legs. Right. Just try that out for a bit.
Try that. Plus becomes like a Power Rangers. Yeah. Power Rangers amalgamation of all the others, like Dia's leg and Bot's arm and Jade's heart.
That would be cool. I think that will be, because you can't have a really weak protagonist just get beat the shit out of forever. And we've established that there's no way for them to level up. Except for swapping body bits.
Or what about if Foss just realises that they can use their brains and wits against the Lunarians rather than...
Well, that's not my prediction, it's your prediction.
I think that's my prediction. My prediction is that Foss is not going to change their body because they can't. Maybe they'll try that in one episode and realise that they're not compatible. Like your body rejecting an organ transplant.
Maybe.
It's just not going to work out. What are we predicting about this weird pigworm thing? What's that going to be?
He's the plushie. He's the mascot.
Yeah, but what's its purpose? You reckon it's going to serve anything?
It's like choo-choo.
Because I think it's going to be more important than that, because I think
where did the snail come from?
Yeah, Foss is can understand it now, and that's going to be a plot for episode 4.
Sorry, I know where the show's going now. So Foss is still definitely going to fuse, because I'm never wrong. But the other thing that Foss is going to do is Foss is going to open a zoo, and it's going to be Phosphorylite. Was it?
Phosphorylite.
Phosphorylite 2. We bought a zoo. Dr. Dolittle.
Nice.
So that's season 2?
That she changes her name to Phosphorylite 2 because she's got new body bits.
Yeah, right.
And then she turns around and she says, "We bought a zoo." She refers to herself as "we" now. And then she goes, "Dr. Dolittle." And then they're like, "What was that?" She's like, "I don't know. It just came to me."
Another prediction I have is that we are going to meet more of the gems, because so far we've only met 12 of them, and there are 28, and I think that they'll introduce them all gradually over the season.
That is an easy prediction, of course.
I know, but I just wanted to bring up that we've only met.
Yeah,
we've only met 12. I have legitimately got a spreadsheet now of all of the names of each of them and what mineral they actually represent.
That's very good.
I predict reoccurring characters.
What's your senzu bean?
The Sakuga in episode 2 with Diamond fighting the snail.
Yeah, good as senzu bean. Favorite bit.
I liked it when, what's the doctor's name?
Rutio.
I liked it when Rutio was tapping on them with hammers, and they sort of would keel over in pain as their bodies like uncontrollably vibrated. I thought looked painful, and I felt it, and like they were vibrating and they couldn't control it. I don't know. I liked that. Because it's something that's not real but seems believable.
Yeah, it's something that we don't have to put up with as organic beings, but it's something that the writers have thought about. What's a good medical test that these guys might have to go through? Yeah, cool. I liked Jade thinking back about how she has previously tried to rouse Sensei from meditation.
I forgot about that.
And somebody goes, we need to go and wake him up, and she's like, that won't end well. And she has like a little flashback to when she timidly goes, Sensei? And then she gets louder and louder, and he's not waiting. And eventually she's punching him in the back of the head, and then her arm breaks off, and she goes, ah! And then it cuts back to that later when she says, we need to wake him, and she goes, no, and it just quickly cuts away to just that bit where she breaks her arm. And
that was good. I really quickly, just before we move on again, I wanted to point out how spectacular the voice acting is in this. It is top quality. It makes me wonder whether they recorded the voices and then did the animation, as opposed to usually what they do is they'll do the animation. Hello, my name is a voice actor. Yes, I'm here. Oh, yes, I can see on the screen. Oh, I move my mouth in that order. Okay, and then they try and fit it.
Yeah.
So I think that they were given more freedom. I may have heard that somewhere already, but it comes through that they're being like they've been given a script and they're more free to
like say it and express it in the way that they want to, without having to sync it.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's how I have animated friends outside of you as well, Chris.
What?
Yeah, I've got friends, you know, and they said that that's the way that they do it, is that they get the script written, then they get the actors in and they just read the script and perform it how they would, and then the animators listen to the audio from the actors as they're animating the mouths. So
that's Western. That's Western. That's
a Western thing, is it?
Yeah, blows my mind. that they do it. That they don't do it that way. Eastern, yeah. That is weird. You just animate gestures, and then
put the mouth in afterwards.
Hope they do something with that.
Hope they show it to the actors at least, at the very least, so you're not getting an entirely mismatched idea.
I wonder why that is. Is it?
I think I'm going to be running through this line. Let's just hope I am.
You get it later and you're like, well, fuck. He's on a treadmill, I guess. But yeah, Foss's character in particular, I know that they're the main character, so they have, a good reason to be, but they were very, very expressive, and I liked it. That went long, but that's all good, because it's time for a Weeb in Review. A Weeb in Review is the segment where we take some time to talk about, other anime, manga, weeb shit that we did in the week. And I know that Robert's always busy, so this. Oh.
Mate, not busy at all anymore. I've finished my exams. Well, technically now I'm busy with the big long list of jobs that I've been putting off because I was busy with the exams. but now I've got more time to watch some shit and read some shit. And I've done that this week.
You know what? You go first.
Yeah, boy.
People are surely sick of hearing me.
So first of all, I am caught up to date on Attack on Titan. That is season 3 mid-season finale. I'm up to date and now waiting with the rest of us with a bated breath for April when it returns with the rest of season 3.
Do you think that you'll pick up the manga? Or?
Potentially, yeah, because I really want to know what happens, and I'm not sure that I'll wait till April.
It goes...
Because by then I'll be back to fucking uni and I won't be able to watch it anyway.
You're right. Yeah.
It goes in a completely different direction.
Than the anime?
No.
Oh, right.
Like I'm just saying, it feels like it's building up to this one thing, and then it takes a very sharp left turn, or right turn, whatever.
Because they've left it, spoilers ahead of course, they've left it on the cliffhanger of they're finally charging in to retake Wall Maria, is it?
No, yeah, retake Wall Maria, but retake Shiganshina.
Yeah. To retake the entire claimed land that was claimed in the very first episode. They're going to finally get in, and in doing so, they're going to finally see what's in the basement.
Mm-hmm.
What's in the box? yeah, it's exciting, and I hope that it's not a fucking cock tease and they end up...
They will absolutely, at the end of this next 12 episodes, they'll show what's in the basement.
Yeah.
But that is a massive cliffhanger, and then they will wait. Who knows how long we'll wait until season 4. Did you enjoy this third season?
Yes, I've watched it in so many like broken fragments now that it's hard to piece it together the way that I did with season 1 and 2, having binged them. So I don't really remember exactly what's happened in which seasons and stuff. I remember the whole thing with the what's his name, Rod Rice. That was confusing, and I didn't quite understand what was going on with a lot of it, and the family lineage of the queen, the rightful queen, and stuff.
Yeah.
I think if I'd have binged it, I would have understood it a bit better because I wouldn't have forgotten what happened in the previous episodes. Of time, yeah. But yeah, the reason you asked me that is that you didn't. Or?
No, I did. I've been loving it. I'm still loving the new direction that the show has gone. I say new. It's just not what I expected.
Yeah.
It's a left turn or a right turn.
It's a left turn or it's a right turn. It's our turn, no matter what way you look at it. But I just I know that a couple people have fallen off the show.
Right.
Well, because that's the thing, right? Is that the first season came out in like 2013.
Yeah.
And then they didn't do another season for like 2 years, and then they're not capitalizing on the hype, and it's nowhere near as relevant as it was 4 years ago. And I know that some people are just at this point they think, you know, like the show's fucked, and I know all of its tricks, and I'm over it.
Right. It seems poorly marketed for those reasons. It's been too many big gaps between seasons and things.
Yeah, it's hard because we've already talked about this and established this, but you have the two ways of going about it when you catch up to the manga, and either you create filler, which has mixed results, or you wait until it's finished, and they've chosen to wait, which I think is good because the story is good.
But didn't you say there's like just fucking shit ton left of the manga that they haven't done, so it's not that they've caught up to it?
It will be a lot closer. I think
I would have imagined that they would have been able to get to the
by
end
the
of
time that
season 3.
they get to by the time they get to the end of season 3, they'll be at around about chapter 80 or 90, I think. That doesn't sound right. I think they'll be at about chapter 80, and then season 4 will be the last stretch, which there is about 112 chapters out currently.
And have they said that's the end after that?
Well, not 112. Yeah, he has said for 5 years that he wants to be finished, but
the manga's still ongoing.
It's still going. It feels like it's wrapping up.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Stories have peaks and troughs of payoff and release and build up and wind down. This feels like the final build up.
Yeah.
A lot of, we know what's in the basement.
Yeah.
We know who the real enemy is. Everything is kind of just building up to
the final confrontation.
The final confrontation or the resolution or whatever, however it resolves itself. It's just that, without going into spoilers, I think it's fair to say that once they find out what's in the basement, there's a 4-year time jump.
Right, yeah.
And also, that's too much of a spoiler. It just, with that time jump, it brings like dynamics change and it covers a lot of ground. But no, definitely winding down. I'm looking forward to it.
It does feel like they're already sort of starting to turn the tables a little bit because they now understand that Titans are humans or were once humans.
Yeah.
And they have also discovered ways of killing them without ever needing to put yourself in a dangerous position to fight them. Yeah. They've got that executioning wall.
The guillotine
situation going on for the Titans.
Yeah.
Which is very much like a possum trap. When I was 8, I helped my uncle who owned a farm at the time to set some possum traps. And the idea was there was a little hole in it and there was some like cinnamon apple right at the other end of the box. And they have to put their head right into the box in order to reach the cinnamon apple, and then guillotine sort of a situation. And it's basically, when I saw they'd set up the same thing for the Titans, they just put a little hole in the wall just big enough for the Titan to stick their head in and wonder what's going on, and then poof, right in the nape of the neck.
I'm sure that's where
that's where they got it from.
He rang your uncle.
And went, how are you killing possums?
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good.
Yep, enjoying that. The other thing that I did is I read some manga. I read the Promised Neverland, which you've talked about in a couple of previous episodes. I'm up to volume 3, chapter 22 or something, 23-ish, around there. They haven't escaped yet. but they've got plans to escape.
Yes. How are you enjoying it?
I'm very much enjoying it.
Yeah, so I was worried. I always worry that with the stuff that I like, the nature of my bad personality is that if I like something, I'll overhype it. I'm like, I love it. I can't get enough of it, and then some people are let down.
So in case you didn't listen to the previous episodes or you've forgotten what it was, I'll just give a very brief synopsis. It's and obviously spoilers are coming. It's about an orphanage where everybody is under the age of 12, and in the very first chapter, two of them, the eldest kids and the smartest kids, discover firsthand when they witness one of the kids going off to be adopted, that they're not actually on an orphanage, they're on a farm, and they're being raised for meat so that demons can eat their brains.
Yeah, that's the basic premise.
Yeah, and so the two smartest and eldest kids who have witnessed this, they have to get off of the farm. They have to escape with everybody else because they feel too familial with the rest of the kids there.
They call each other brother and sister.
Yeah, they can't leave them behind, so they say, right, we've got to escape, and we've got to take everybody with us. And the matron, the mother of the orphanage, knows that two of them found out, but doesn't know which two, and she has to work it out.
How do you feel? Okay, so that's the basic premise. Do you feel the tension of the cat and mouse game?
Yes.
That's so tense, right?
Yeah, because the stakes are so high that they know that they're not only going to get... Somehow getting eaten is worse than getting killed. Even though it's once you're killed, you're just a corpse and who cares what happens to you. Knowing that you're going to get eaten by demons. And the demons traumatic. They have eyeballs that are vertical. They've got two eyes, but they're vertical in their face.
Yeah.
They've got an eye there.
An eye above your face.
An eye where your forehead would be and an eye where your nose would be. It's freakish and weird, and they've got all the... Obviously, that long sort of alien-like tongue. From the film Alien, not this. They've got that long the xenomorph tongue, and they've got the big teeth, sharp teeth and everything, really freaky. They've got 6 fingers, 4 fingers and a thumb on either side of their hands. All sorts of weird, creepy shit. Knowing that they've seen the aliens, the demons, and they're freaked out by them, but not having seen what the rest of the world is outside of the orphanage. Yeah. They've seen the 10-foot high wall.
Yeah, that's the one thing they go over there's a little fence in the forest.
They're told don't go over the fence.
Well, then they're told don't go near the fence.
Yeah.
And then they're like, fuck it. They go over the fence, and then within another 20 meters, there's just a 10-foot high wall all the way around.
10 foot thick.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, we need to now scale this if we're going to escape. They talk about how we're going to escape. Are we going to go through the gate or over the wall? Those are our 2 options. They quickly dismiss the gate because it's only ever opened when there's a delivery, when they're delivering one of the kids to be harvested. And so they say, right, we've got to get over the wall then. And so now they've got to fashion a rope or find one.
Right.
And they can only use the materials that are in the house, and the mum has control over all of the materials in the house because she's a stockkeeper. She's not, she's human.
She's human.
So that's the other thing is why is a human helping the demons?
We do discover in one of the chapters that I've just read, because the mother realizes that she needs some help in working out who the 2 people are. So she gets another human and another mother, a sister crone who is just picture Mrs. Trunchbull from Matilda. She's kind of that vibe. She's bulky and strong, physically fit, but she's also just manic and
imagine
has...
Mrs. Trunchbull from Matilda, but played by Whoopi Goldberg.
yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So she comes in as her help to try and guard them and stuff, and she's got her own motives because she wants to be a matron. She wants to be a mum. And not just a sister.
See, that was...
and so she's trying to she's trying to tell the grandma, we don't know who grandma is, but she's trying to tell grandma at headquarters that mum has fucked up so that she'll get fired and she'll get promoted.
Right.
It's awesome that there's so many cat and mouse. It's like what, cat and mouse and dog. There's all sorts of things going on. And then she ends up making a deal with the kids. She's like, I know that you're trying to escape. And
she doesn't have any proof, though.
I know that you're trying to escape, but I don't have evidence, so I can't turn you in. But you know that I'm now plotting against her, so you've got things on me and I've got things on you. We'll work it out together. That way, when you can escape and you get what you want,
then I can. If I help you, her position is if I help you escape, that'll make Mama look bad. and then I can
she'll
take
get fired.
over. Yeah.
You get to live.
Right.
I get my job.
But even then, there's like layers that like, can we believe her? I mean, we could believe everything that she says, which would give her evidence, and then she could turn us in, and then we.
The kids are super smart, so they leave that immediate meeting going, well, we don't trust her. And then we see it from her perspective saying, they shouldn't trust me. It's great. And then, so there's three main kids that are the most intelligent ones and the oldest ones. They know that they've got until their 12th birthday because that's when they get harvested, and they've worked that out because they read a book once that said the brain does most of the developing between ages of 6 and 12, and they've realised that the aliens are wanting the brains specifically. So by the age of 12, your brain's almost fully developed or whatever, and that's when they eat them.
Yeah.
So the brightest ones get saved for last because they're the most tender meat or whatever, the best brains. So the two that witness it go off to find their third mate, who's in their little triangle, and they tell him, they get him in on it, blah blah blah. They then go to the two next oldest kids, and they say, we need to tell Dawn and whatever her name is. And so they say,
are you going to do a big spoiler?
Yeah.
Okay, so like, I don't give a fuck about any spoilers. I don't give a shit. This is a very good spoiler.
Yeah,
so
very good.
Skip ahead like 5 minutes.
Had me flat-jawed when.
Yeah. So skip ahead 5 minutes because I could smell it coming. I love you dearly, friend. If you're a foe, I didn't say shit. You didn't hear nothing. Keep listening.
Keep listening. They say, right, we need to tell Don and what's it? But by now they're starting
Don
to...
and Elisa.
Something like that, yeah. Elisa, I think it is. They're starting to suspect that the mum knows who it is that's actually seen. If she stopped trying to investigate who it was that saw, and she's starting to do different tactics, and they're like, that means that she knows it's us. But because she hasn't approached us and gotten us deported and eaten immediately,
she's overconfident.
She means that she knows it's us, but she's playing a longer game, obviously, and we don't know what that is.
Right.
So the fact that she knows it's us means that there's someone has told her that it was us. One of the kids on the inside is her spy, a traitor. They suspect this next oldest kid's Don and Elisa.
Yeah, so like we three kids, we're all roughly the same age, and we've all known each other forever. So of course it couldn't be any of the three of us. The only two that it could be are Don and Eliza. They're a year younger than us, and we're not that close to them.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're almost as smart as we are because they're younger.
So Norman, the boy who was witness to the whole thing, he and Emma, the other witness to it, he tells Don that they found a rope that's going to help them escape, and he's hidden it under Norman's bed.
Yeah.
They then tell Elisa, we found a rope, it's going to help us escape, we've hidden it in the ceiling above the bathroom.
Yeah.
And then, they wait.
Yeah.
They wait to see which rope gets found. Sure enough, the rope under Norman's bed gets found. And he goes, right, I know who the traitor is now. And Ray, his other friend that's been in the whole time, goes,
like,
oh shit,
Don.
yeah, it's Don, he must have... And Norman turns to him and says, no, it's you. Because he actually told Don that it was in the library, and he actually told Elisa that it was in the kitchen. And he only told Ray that he told Don that it was under his bed.
Right.
And so this guy that you've been like, oh shit, he's on the level the whole time.
Fuck? Yeah. The other 11-year-old that's been in the entire he's been in the inner circle the whole time. He's actually his trader, and he's been telling Mum everything. And not only that, he's been her informant for 6 years. He knows that it's a farm and has done since he was 5. I know, right? And he's the one who's like telling her everything, and you're like, what the fuck? Yeah. But not only that, he's been playing the long game himself. Since he was 5 years old, he's been playing a long game of chess, ready for this moment. He wants them to genuinely escape.
Yeah.
But he's playing both sides so that he can orchestrate the escape that will actually work.
Oh, okay.
He was the one who told them, you should go out to the gate right now to see if you can give the kid her doll back. Knowing that Norman and Emma would witness what is actually going on, and he'd be able to play both sides.
It's so
fantastic.
Good. This first arc is fantastic.
Such a tactician. They start to play tag with all of the other kids. But
to teach them how to escape?
They're secretly training them in how to avoid being captured.
Oh, okay.
Because they're playing tag in the woods, and he's teaching them to muss up your tracks, to avoid going upwind of people, all of this sort of stuff. Mix up your usual tactics and your usual habits and stuff. Nice. They're teaching them to avoid capture. they're also they've worked out that they've got tracking devices somewhere on their bodies, and they've worked out where that is and how to get rid of it and stuff.
Right.
It's fantastic. I do see a lot of the things that you said only really came into it later, but I already see it now, which is where the characters find out something they don't tell us. There's a few of those things happened already.
I think I read the first until they escaped really quickly,
right?
So I didn't notice it, and then once that tension was released, and the stakes were still high but not consistent, and there isn't that much of a cat and mouse game, I think it was more noticeable because I wasn't just reading like 10 chapters at a time, and that's when it really started to.
No, there is quite a few of it already. One of them, they'll like break themselves off halfway through a sentence. In Norman, especially, he'll be like, "Oh, so that must mean, huh?" And then he'll go on something else, and you'll be like, "What does it mean? What does Norman know?"
So, okay, so that's interesting because I think it's also just more noticeable in the later arcs because they literally open up a computer screen and they're like, "That's interesting," and they point at it, and then they go, but we're just camera didn't see it, so. That's fine.
A couple of things I didn't like so much. It's always just been a pet peeve of mine that when kids act more grown up than they should in anything. So I would have liked it if they'd have said that they were 14 or something, because they are not 11-year-olds. Yeah. And I don't care how well developed they are or how emotionally developed they are. If you're 11 and you find out that your 6-year-old sister effectively has just been killed and eaten by, and not only that, but everyone you've ever known has also been killed and eaten or will be killed and eaten. Like, they don't have...
What if they have
any
IQs
time,
of
they don't
120?
have any time to emotionally come to terms with that, because they immediately go, all right, we need to act like we're normal, otherwise she'll die. And they just act like they're normal the next day. And it's like, you can't act like you're normal as an 11-year-old. You wouldn't be able to act like you're normal as an adult. But at least of all as an 11. So I would have really liked it if the entire second chapter was them... Not acting, just like not
to be sick.
Yeah, doing some like they're fucking it up, and Norman's like, Emma, we need to get this together, man.
You bitch!
We need
don't
to get this
together
because Norman's set up to be like the tactician. He's always been strategically minded. He's always the one that wins tag, even though he's not necessarily the most athletic, because he knows where the kids are going to go and stuff.
Right.
So he should have been saying to Emma, "Hey, come on, we need to get this together."
True,
I know it's hard
because Emma is positioned as the more emotional person. Because Norman's like, let's just fucking get out of here. Just me and you, just like hit the road. And Emma's like, no, we can't leave without. We're
taking every single person,
even the babies.
Like, we've got like 6 people that are under 3,
and then Norman's like, you know what? Just you, me, maybe like the ones above 10. She's like, no, everyone.
Meanwhile, Ray is saying, I've been planning this since I was 5. Yeah. You are not taking the kids because they'll fuck it up. I am telling you this is going to happen. Yeah. And so he has now just made a deal with Norman saying, I'm going to help you out. I'm your trump card. I'm playing both sides the whole time. Yeah. She doesn't trust me, but I'm on the inside sort of thing. I can get all sorts of rewards and stuff. Because he's like the snitch, he gets all sorts of Game Boys and stuff. And he's been doing that specifically to see what the outside world is like. And he's noticed that no technology is like past 2015, and this is set in 2045.
Yeah.
So he's like, something happened 30 years ago, and Ray is piecing together what's the outside world's like by the rewards that he's asking for.
Also, what he'll be allowed to get as well. He's asked for some things and not gotten them
because they're too dangerous or whatever. And So Ray's piecing it together. He goes to Norman and says, "Listen, I'll help you out with all my knowledge and stuff. You're not going to survive without me, but on the condition that you're going to trick Emma into thinking that we're going to take everyone with us so that she'll be compliant, and then we're going to ditch everybody except for me, you, and Emma."
Sure.
And Norman's now in the position of going, we need to escape. Yeah. I want to take everyone with us. I don't want to lie to Emma, but I can't do this without Ray.
Well, it's not even I don't want to lie to Emma. If I lie to Emma and then she finds out, she'll just bail and then you will all die.
I find it...
It's a really good read.
I find it really hard to swallow that they are so smart when they are meant to be uneducated.
No, they're not uneducated.
He says that they take tests every day, but that is in place of school. And somebody says at one point... well, obviously, they wouldn't want us being too smart because that's not good for them keeping us docile as farm animals.
Right.
And so they've been deliberately kept at a level where they're not stupid, but they're not educated. They've not been going to school. They take a 1-hour test every day, and that's how they deduce which ones are going to get harvested first. the lowest scores.
Well, you get,
so it's a little bit hard to swallow how they are so intelligent.
sometimes you get like a Houdini guy, not a Houdini. What's his name? Newton. Edward Norton.
Edward Newton. Sir Isaac Norton.
Sir Isaac Norton. He was like a real smart guy, and they had dumb school back then. They were like
Gauss was apparently very smart as well. Like there's a apocryphal story about the teacher was bored and wanting to have some time to himself, so he gave them all their chalk slates and said, add up every number from 1 to 100, and thinking that'll take from forever. And he was like 7 years old, was Gauss. Within a couple of minutes, he put the answer on the table, 5,050. And he went, blah, 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 you're cheating, you're whatever, you're just making stuff up, you're guessing. He gave him some lashes. Yeah. And then it found out that, no, that's correct. And it's because he just saw a pattern. And So, you do get some kids that are super smart.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess this school's just got 3 of them that are all the exact same age.
Well, they do talk about, because we haven't found out how it doesn't sound like you have found out how Ray found out when he was 5 yet.
No, all we've seen is that he's sitting by the gate and he goes, I know what this school is. What are you going to do about it?
When you find out how Ray knows, no question, he's the smartest cookie that there ever did live.
Because we don't know how old he is at the time, but then later he says, I've known for 6 years. I'm like, you're 11? You found what? You were smart enough to summon a double agent role, because he goes to her and says, I know what you're doing here.
When he's
now,
5.
Now you could either kill me or I could be your man on the inside. And he propositions this woman at 5 years old. That's fucking ridiculous.
He's enriched. Don't worry about it. Anyways,
that's a common anime thing, though, right?
Yeah, I did say that Emma feels very much like an. You said when we first talked about this, you said, "Do they feel like children?" And I said Emma definitely feels just like any anime protagonist. She's like perky and just wants to do the right thing regardless of what the cost is.
Which is kind of cool because they're not like dumbing children down in TV shows and making them like goo goo gaga.
It's an idealized fiction and it's not without flaws. But
I got one question. Do you guys have any suspicions about the outside world?
I'm out there, baby.
Oh man, that's one of the most thrilling parts is that we don't know what the outside world's like yet because they haven't escaped and they haven't seen it. They're like, we don't know if they're about to escape into an entirely post-apocalyptic demon-run world and there's nowhere to hide. We've learnt from Sister Crone, who's told them things in return for their information, but then again, she's an unreliable source because she's on their side, effectively on the bad guy's side. So she's told them that there are pockets of humans that still live on the outside world and they're resistant and they don't get eaten, they don't get bothered by the demons. So if they can get in with one of them, then they're fine.
If we escape, we will have somewhere to go.
They've also found secret messages written in the library books that have been sent into the library in Morse code that says things they're all from one particular guy. So they're like, if we can find this particular guy who's been sending in these library books, obviously he's on our side because he's been giving us coded messages.
Right. Yeah.
So we don't know anything about the outside world at this stage per se, but it's very exciting.
Yeah.
I also, just one last thing I want to say about it is that the artwork is fantastic. It really blows me away with the beautiful sort of symbolic full page drawings every so often. That's just it's symbolic, and I didn't like that so much in Utena just because it was hard to know what the symbolism was representing. Whereas this, it's fantastic and easy to understand what it represents. Like at one point the mother is holding a wine glass and the 2 kids that know about it are inside the wine glass and they're kind of stuck drowning. And there's one point where they're in the school, but the school is a diorama at a show, and they're on display as farm animals kind of thing. Yeah. And beautiful things. When Sister Crone gets introduced, she's like smiling, and it says smirk in big letters, and she's smiling in a really creepy way. But over her shoulder is one of the gigantic eyes of the demons, and she's there to watch them on behalf of the demons and stuff. Yeah, it's beautiful artwork.
Creepy.
It does dip page to page. I've found there are a couple of there's one in particular that I remember, and it's a small shot of Norman, but his eye is just like halfway down his face. I didn't take it. I've been taking I'm still reading Grapple Backy, and every now and then I'll just take I remember that I'm reading Backy to take screenshots, but I don't remember to do it for anything else that I read.
Yeah.
But that I was like, come on. His nose was like in the middle of his eyes.
He's just had a stroke. Yeah. They got a guest star on and didn't realize it was Picasso.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear that you're enjoying it. I would really like to hear your thoughts on the escape.
Where it goes. Yeah.
Where it goes and the aftermath.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's technically relevant. I think Robert's done all the heavy lifting this week, so I'll be kind of quick.
It's my bags of rocks, as a rock collector.
So I haven't watched any anime that I'm ready to talk about yet this week, but I have started reading Oyasumi Punpun, which is Goodnight Punpun in English, and it is the story of an 11-year-old penguin living in Japan. He's a boy. I think it's because it's told from his perspective, so I think he thinks of himself as a penguin, like a very crudely drawn penguin. Everything else is the art in it, very, very good. Yeah. But Punpun is Punpun looks like a stick figure amongst life, if that makes sense. Cool. And he never speaks. Like, everybody has speech bubbles, right? Because it's a manga. But whenever he talks, it'll have just a panel of black with white text.
Okay.
And and it will be like
film.
Kind of, yeah, but only when Punpun talks.
Yeah.
And it will be like, Punpun said this, or like a thought in the first person, and then people will just look at him and react. Okay. It's really strange. So it's the story of Punpun, and it starts when he's 11. From what I understand, it finishes when he's mid-20s.
Oh, wow.
And it's just a really miserable, dark story.
Oh no!
I'm really enjoying it. It's great.
I had like pictures of Happy Feet and stuff. No, so that was much bigger, bigger dive than I expected.
Yeah. So I mean, the cover for the first volume is like his crush from when he's 11, holding onto a penguin, which we find out is Punpun, like a doll. And so if you judge the book literally by its cover, it looks like some shit story about a little girl and a dumb penguin toy. But I mean, the first chapter ends with his dad, like he hears a noise in the night and he comes downstairs and his mum's knocked out. She's also a penguin. And his dad's a penguin too. But like his mum is unconscious on the floor and the dad is like, Punpun, a robber came in.
Oh god.
Punpun, you have to believe me, there was a robber.
Gross.
And then exactly, gross. And then his uncle, who's a hikikomori. No, he's not a hikikomori, he's a recluse. Right. There's a distinction.
And penguin.
And a penguin, yeah. Everybody in his family is a penguin. Okay. Comes to live with them. Oh, so his first name is Punpun, his last name is Punyama, so his name is Punpun Punyaba. So it's funny sometimes. It's kind of, the closest thing I can think of in similarity to it is BoJack Horseman. Have you guys both seen that? Yeah, so you know how BoJack will have kind of surreal-ish humor?
Yeah.
And then just really, really low lows, like deep troughs.
Yeah.
It has that. Like, one of the funny things that happen is one kid is like, oh, you guys should come around to my house after school. I found an uncensored porno video. They're 11, which is, that's old enough to be doing that. And they're like, yeah, we're going to go around and watch porn at our friend's house. And then they get there and he's like, I don't feel well. My mum's going to be home soon. And the VCR's not working. And they're like, you fucking liar.
Yeah,
do you remember and then they're all, they go in the playground and they're like, do you remember the time that he told us he could do a Kamehameha? And then he just stood in the park for an hour and then started crying. And they're all having a bitch about him. I thought that was really funny and relatable. And then even funnier than that is, or another thing that's funny is eventually they do find a porno mag, and Punpun is like, I would say he's less emotionally mature than his friends. Like they all feel 11, unlike this. Like this is clearly a story about children going through some horrible shit. But Punpun feels like he doesn't really understand. He doesn't understand why they all want to look at porn, really.
Right.
So they find this porn mag, and then stuff happens. Later in the night, he is like laying in bed, and it's showing this weird kind of, that like LSD imagery with lots of kaleidoscopic. Right, that's not the word I'm looking for, but that kind of imagery with fractal images.
Right. Yeah.
There we go. Fractal. So there's like a fractal image of like boobs and the porn he was looking at, and then the girl that he likes from school, not her naked, just like her face, all mixed in together. And then it's just like a panel of black, and then thud, and Punpun's on the bed, off on the ground, falling off the bed, looking afraid. And then there's just like a white liquid on the bed, and then he's just like, and then Punpun knew exactly what happened. his brain leaked out his penis. And he like goes downstairs and he's asking his uncle like
Accurate.
Yeah. He's asking his uncle like if somebody's brain melts, do they die? And his uncle's like, well, I haven't heard of that happening, but I think that they would die, yes. And he's like, from the doorway, just if your brain leaked out of one of your weird body parts, would you be fine? And then his uncle's like, you're right, mate. Don't worry about it. So it's got the little the humor. The humor is relatable for me as a man. As a kid, at least. Yeah, if I was a male penguin. But the lows are where I'm starting to come up against some friction because it kind of feels, and I have this feeling in because the latest season of BoJack, they're kind of addressing the fact that they've been so dark for 4 seasons. They're like, we can't just keep fucking doing this. It's kind of the theme of season 5. Yeah. And with this, it's not that it's not like BoJack where he's like, oh, I'm trying to be a good person. This is just like stuff that is out of these people's control, kids' control, that's happening to them, and the way that they're dealing with it. And it feels weirdly voyeuristic, if that makes sense. Yeah. Like watching these bad things happen. Yeah. I don't know. I'm enjoying it and it's interesting, and I can see why it's so highly rated. The art is really good, but it's just sad. Right. Some of it, like the mum gets assaulted, and minus. I'm not that far in. I'm 30 chapters in, and it goes for like 100 and something. So I don't know, but you know, the mum we don't really get to see while she's in hospital. And then his Punpun's uncle is like, oh, your mum should be out of hospital tomorrow. And his dad's just in jail now. Right. And then it cuts to the hospital. And a nurse is like, oh, you're getting out tomorrow? Oh, lucky you. You'll be happy. And she's like, no, don't like my kid.
Oh, Jesus.
Really wish that I hadn't had him. And she's like, oh, you don't mean that, do you? And she's, and that's right, she'd gone out looking for her. She's out smoking on the balcony. She's like, you shouldn't be smoking. Yeah. And you shouldn't be out here anyway. This is a balcony. It's like a fire escape stairs. Right, yeah. And then the mum was like, how old are you? She's 22? She's like, man, I wish I was 22. I would get so much dick. And she's like, you should be wearing out that cooch. Do you have a boyfriend? You shouldn't have a boyfriend. You should be out living your life. I'm so jealous of you. It's like, and that's weirdly sad because this is a middle-aged woman.
Middle-aged penguin.
Middle-aged penguin. and then you know...
Yeah, it's even weird.
The nurse kind of leaves her alone and then comes to give her a shot later and is like, I bet she's out smoking on the balcony again. And then it just shows a shot of the fire escape with a unopened packet of cigarettes. Oh, yeah, no. And it's like, fucking goddamn it! She doesn't die. She clearly attempts suicide, so she doesn't have to go look after a kid anymore.
Jesus.
And the adults are like deep in it, and they're like, her brother Punpun's uncle is like, "Are you fucking with me right now? Right. You tried to kill yourself?" And she's like, no. Yeah, she's like, my hand slipped. And he's like, oh, your hand slipped and you fell 5 stories? She's like, fine, my foot slipped. So that's like where it starts. And then it starts to get into more bizarre dark territory. Like, I don't want to give it away because I really wasn't expecting it. It's not that it's grim and it's not gruesome. It's just takes it to a really weird place that these kids have to deal with.
Yeah.
And I know that the story is about Punpun just not ever learning to deal with it. And I don't know if it has a good ending. I feel like it doesn't.
Right.
Because like Punpun is getting confronted with things like the girl he likes. She wants to run away with him because she has a miserable life. And he finds out that his mum tried to kill himself, so he has to go to the hospital. And he's just so relieved that he didn't have to run away because he didn't know how to do it. But she said that she'd kill him if they didn't run away. So he never talks to her again because he thinks that she wants to kill him. But he just like carries that guilt with him.
Yeah.
And then they meet again later when they're 13 and does like a bit of a time skip. And it's just this weird tension and this guilt that he can't let go. You know what I mean? He's already dealing with things badly, and I feel like it's not going to get better.
Right.
But it's a good read. Nice. It's really, really good. So I'm going to read some more of that, and I'll probably try and finish it. Probably not by next week, and then share some thoughts on it. But yeah, check it out. All the other side characters that I haven't talked about are equally as interesting, even if they don't have horrible things going on. Just like, I don't know, there's something weirdly interesting in watching people struggle
There's like a reality.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's what it was, because, you know, a lot of the time I feel like with sitcoms and the like, it's like, this is really happy and we should be really happy and look at these happy situations.
Yeah.
Which is why when you see these kind of realistically dark stories, not, I don't know, like dark gore fantasy where it's just like, oh, I stabbed his nuts 100 times. When you see realistic people being confronted with things that you could conceive happening, or like, fuck if that happened to me, it's like, you wish for the best for them, but when you don't see them handling it well, it's kind of just like, I hope I would react differently. Yeah. It's good. I'm getting a lot out of it, but yeah. So that's Oyasumi Punpun, or Good Night Punpun. It's got a very high rating on Mal, which is why I decided to check it out, because some of the other stuff is like One Piece. I'm just like, eh. Yeah. So that's me. That's me for this week.
Cool.
Well, with that, I think it's time to move into fake views.
Fake Views is a segment where I come up with 3 anime synopses, real or fake, and you two have to decide which one is the real, which ones are the fakes, if any. I get to
home?
What's that?
Play along at home.
Play along at home if you can decide if you've seen this one, then you sound dumb if I then just tell you it's a fake one. Or you can then write in and say, no, that's you may have thought it was fake, but I've actually seen an anime that's exactly like that.
That would be good.
Alright, cool. So, the first one. A young man has the ability to reach in and hear people's innermost thoughts. As a small child, he was thought to be possessed, so he was banished from his village. Now known as the Wandering Healer, he travels between villages seeking to settle the grievances of others in exchange for food and shelter.
When you say reach in, does he have to touch them?
Not to my knowledge. I didn't.
Okay, just says reach in.
Yeah.
Okay.
When's it? Sorry, what? Is it?
I don't know. I think the thing is,
no, it's set in the past.
Okay.
I worry about probing for too much information, because that's how you guys got me a couple times.
Okay, you're onto it. I'm gonna go real.
Maybe, you go real. I reckon maybe that's a rule that we set up from now on, is we can maybe ask one question max each.
I will always have the genres and the year it was released.
Year, I don't know if it's helpful, but genre will be helpful. Okay, you going with real?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go real as well. That one sounds real. It sounds a lot like something else that I've seen.
Well, I'm afraid it's fake.
Fuck.
This one is straight from the mind of a friend and colleague of mine, Erin, who I work with. I outsourced this one as the dice.
I've already looked like a dum-dum.
Yep. So this is not good for you. It could be a sweep.
Really quickly, it sounds very similar to Mushishi, which I don't like, but he can't read minds, and I knew that. So I don't know why I linked it.
The next one. A scientist is sent to the Arctic to investigate a recently discovered meteorite for potential signs of alien life. She finds more than she bargains for, however, and ends up running for her life after discovering a conspiracy.
I'm going fake. I don't need to ask a question.
I'll go real.
So I cannot be swept this week and not you. It is fake.
Yes. Is that Mountains of Madness?
No, it is not. It is the synopsis to Deception Point by Dan Brown.
Sounds like Mountains of Madness by H.P. Lovecraft, which is why I thought it sounded fake.
Right for the wrong reasons. Yeah. The last one. See if you get 3 out of 3 at home. This is a reimagining of the Brave Little Tailor fairy tale. Jean, the protagonist, grows weary of her life in a small village and seeks adventure with only her wits and courage to guide her.
The Brave what? Tailor?
The Brave Little Tailor.
Well, that's a fucking made-up book right off the bat. I've never heard of that book, and so I can't even place it. Genre is like adventure?
Yes,
aimed at
action-adventure.
Action-adventure aimed at kids. Tired of town.
Weary of her life in a small village, seeks adventure with only her wits and courage to guide her.
Curtis, you go first. I went first last time.
Alright, real.
You going real?
Yeah.
I want to go fake, because that sounds like a Western thing. Not that they don't develop stories from the West. Just Wouldn't.
What are you locking in? Dun, dun,
Yeah,
dun,
it's like
dun,
the Mission Impossible. No, what is it? It's the game, the Weakest Link game.
Sure. I was going countdown.
Okay, I don't know what countdown is.
It's a British one.
I'm locking in fake. Real.
Locked in real. Unfortunately, it's fake.
Damn it!
Locked in at the wrong one at the last time.
I need to go first because Curtis throws me out.
The Brave Little Tailor is a fairy tale, but there is no Valiant Seamstress, which is what this one was called. This was straight from the mind of our mutual friend James.
Fair enough.
This one was outsourced as well. Every week I do roll a dice to see whether it's going to be real or fake, but also it also tells me whether I should get the inspiration from a book or from a friend or from my own life.
It's a better way of handling it.
That sort of thing.
So 2 weeks in a row we've had 3 fakes.
I know, right? Just from the dice, I was like, "Fucking hell!" But yeah, that's the way the dice roll.
That's cool.
That's bullshit.
So tune in next week to see if you
wait, who won? Wait, who won? Was it me or Curtis? Did we both tie?
I think
I
Curtis got
none.
none. You got one.
I got one.
Yeah, let us know if you got more than Joel at home, and you can take his honorary hat of sensei.
Yeah, that's the easy thing to do. All right, let's move into the wrap up. Can we take it? Okay, so here's the thing. Right. I think that my problem is that we're going too quick. I think that I need to start with a slow rap. You don't start with real quick stuff. So yeah, let's. Phosphor firelight is a treat, and diamond is an elite, and I smash her head because it looks white like crack cocaine. Drop out of school. That's it.
Awesome.
Good
message to end on.
I was trying to channel
Rappers.
rap
Gotta
gods.
get angry, yeah. Get impassioned.
You need to smoke crack, and you need to drop out of school.
Drop out of school.
Those are the 2 things I've learned today. Next week, we will be watching episodes 4, 5, and 6 of Housekei no... I'm
Land
getting
of the
tired.
Lustrous.
Land of the Lustrous. But until next week, where can people get in touch with us, Curtis?
YouTube. Vine.
Just post 6
How do you get in touch?
just 100 6-second clips for each podcast. Yep.
Snapchat.
Yep.
Facebook as well.
Facebook, yeah.
Reddit. You can also email us directly at kyfcayac@gmail.com. That's kifkayak@gmail.com. If you could tell a friend about us if you like the podcast, that'd be great.
Smash that review button. What did I say? Like, rate us.
Scribe,
and smash that review button. And I've got a question for you to get involved with. Whose prophecy do you think is right? No, which one is right if you've seen the show, or what's your prophecy for the show? Who knows? I mean, we'd love to hear from you. Until next week, I, of course, have, as always, been your anime geologist, Joel.
I was your anime rock collector. The minerals, Murray!
Yeah.
Robert.
I've been your anime pumice, Curtis.